tonight's Linda MacPhee's workshop. Here's Linda.
You know when you hear that bouncy music that it must be time for that crazy show, and yes, here we go. And you know that this show is all about having fun, making things that are quick and easy. Even if you don't sew, I mean, you don't have to know how to sew, because I invited my friend Kat.
Hello, Linda.
And it's great to have you.
Thank
and
you.
I know that you really don't profess to be a sewer.
I don't. I have a grade 9 education when it comes to sewing. I'm not a graduate.
Well, at least you
admit it.
Yeah, and at least you did some.
That's correct.
Yeah.
A very long time ago.
True. So you're kind of always asking me, and this is what happens with the non-sewing friends, is that they come and sort of say, will you do this for me, will you do this for me? And I thought, yeah, I love to sew for people, but it's kind of fun to show you that it really isn't rocket science. I think sometimes in your grade 9 thing, maybe there was hormones happening and all kinds of other things happening that you weren't really convinced you wanted to make whatever it was they wanted you to make.
That is correct.
Yeah. So now, when you see the project we're doing today, is this bag.
My favorite subject.
Shopping?
And handbags.
And handbags, yes. I mean, I think I love to have my bag match I've been obsessed with this, and I can imagine you could be too.
I have a wardrobe full of color and different unique items, so I always have to have that coordination.
Yes.
And it is very difficult when you're out there spending, and of course, you can't find exactly what you're looking for.
Yes.
So you promised me that this would be an easy-made handbag.
Yes. In fact,
I'll see.
The one person that I showed it to was recently, and she said, darn, I just went out and spent $200 on this new bag. And she said, and I could have done this, and this would have worked. And I said, if you spend that kind of money, you don't have anything left to put in it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It's not even a wallet,
yeah,
but maybe
exactly.
we can make one of those sometime.
Well, that's
too.
true. That could be another project. And I do like a shoulder bag, and I like
beautiful.
something just, that'll. And the joy as well of making this, you can customize it to everything that you need to put in it.
So, having said that, is there a kit that I need to be aware of first
you
and
could
foremost?
make it out of just about anything. So I think this is kind of a fun one for winter. So here's the same thing,
Very
fuzzy
nice.
and warm for winter. We did it with applique, so you could have applique on it. We did some with bleaching, and you design your own sort of designs on this and do it all with bleaching. You might like this one. You might recognize what we've used.
Recyclable bags.
Yes, so this is the original.
Here's my shopping day, Linda,
Yeah.
all in a bag.
All in a bag, and you use all the
gorgeous.
bags, so don't throw away the bags. So you can do lots of things with this. So you need a basic pattern, and it's a one-piece pattern. You'll like that, because, you can't lose one piece. It's just one piece, so that's it. So you're going to cut this out of whatever fabric. We usually cut, two of them the same, so it's going to be the same front and back, but you could have half of it one color and half of it another color if you want. It could be two different fabrics. You could actually cut this up and make it in different pieces, whatever. So you're going to cut two of these out of your outside fabric. I've got one sort of cut here just to show you. So here it is, and this is our outside fabric. It's kind of a fun fur. It'll be kind of a neat. And then cut a lining fabric, and the lining fabric could be anything. It could be a different color. It could be whatever you want. So
Is
you're
that
going
to make it easier for me to know what is the front and what is the lining?
Yes.
Because I'd hate to do the reverse.
Well, you could have a...
Could you?
There you go, a reversible purse. Yes, you could do that.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. So basically then you're going to sew this top seam. See, that's sort of your shoulder seam. You're going to sew that seam across there on the lining and on the top. And then you're going to put them right sides together. This is the thing you always learned about in home ec, right sides together. So that means the right side of this fabric to the right side of that.
Oh.
And we're going to put those together, and then we're going to sew on that curve and sew on this curve. So again, that's some pretty straightforward kind of thing, I think.
Basic thread?
I think, yeah, you can use whatever color thread you even want. It doesn't really matter. But what we've got to do is we've got to turn this inside out. So that's probably the trickiest thing of this.
And what's the reason for that?
Well, because you see, you don't want to be wearing this like this. It looks a little rough. You don't
looks like my home ec project.
You don't want people to think you made this. You want them to think you didn't make it. That you
I'm competing with Kate Spade is what you're saying.
Yes, that's it. You want them to looks like you spent a lot of money. I'm going to use this, by the way, and you didn't even see what this was.
What is that?
This is called a tube turner. Sometimes they're a little tricky, but I'm going to try it, because you put it right through. You need to catch the end of this. So let me pull this through. So
Looks a little surgical.
it does look a little surgical, but let me just see if I can do it. So if we pull it through, and then if I just catch this, so now it's hooked onto that. And then I can start pulling through. Oh, hey, clicking, working. Okay, so now I can get this thing off of there. And as long as I've got this pulled, so you sort of pull on that.
It's quite the little invention. So
Yeah.
do you need two people to do the pulling?
No, I think you could do it. I mean, it depends. If you've got another person, certainly put them to work. That would help. So there we go. So now I've pulled this right through. So now we have the beginning of the purse. This is going to be on the shoulder.
Yes.
And then this is going to come down. In fact, maybe this could even be a vest.
Well, I know that your fashions, you can often use them for other.
You never know. I mean, you just never
Patterns.
know. That's it. So now we've got this together. So now we're going to take right sides together and sew and put the lining to the lining, which is here, right there, and right there. So we're going to sew that seam. So we won't do that because, of course, we don't have time to do that, but we've got one that's already sewn. So
Now, how much time would I anticipate to put?
Oh, you could throw these together. I mean, when you start making these for all your friends and neighbors, which I anticipate you would, I mean, Christmas gifts,
Yes.
birthday, whatever, I would say an hour from start to finish would give you this.
I can do that.
Yes, you could.
As I'm watching Desperate Housewives, I can
Get your
do
sewing
this.
machine. Get your sewing machine there, because that's really what you need. Okay, so we've done this one. If you look at this, the next thing that we could do is put pockets, because we had to sew that seam first so you could put a pocket. And this is the joy of handbags, is that you can put a pocket for your passport or your wallet, the size of your wallet. How many handbags have you searched to find one that fits your wallet?
You can't even find the wallet
Yeah.
or the debit card.
Yes, that's true. So,
And you feel that panic because everyone's waiting in line for you to find your
and
item.
put some Velcro on that if you
That's a
want.
nice idea.
So cell phone pocket is a good one.
Oh,
In fact,
yes.
if you notice on this one.
I stuck my cell phone in here, Linda.
Yeah,
And
because if your cell phone is in the bottom of there somewhere, it's ringing, it's over.
It's an important call. You can't find it. There it
So you make
is.
a little cell phone pocket on there. You put all the pockets on now while it's flat, and you can sew them just through this one layer. So cell phone pocket would go right about up in there somewhere,
Okay.
and however many more pockets you want. So, okay, now we're going to sew this, and we're going to sew the other seam of this. So here is, we're just going to close
Again,
it up.
Right side up is
Right sides together.
Right
yeah.
sides together.
In fact, I thought you might like this little method.
a stapler.
Well, yes, why not? Because this is sort of like basting it.
Okay,
We're
this
just
is
gonna-
stapling. I like this idea.
Yeah, I thought you'd kind of like this. So we're going to just, and you wouldn't do this, now promise me, Kat, you're not going to do this for good.
This is just the first time, right?
Yeah, this is just to sort of show here.
And the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time.
Okay, let's pull this through.
All right.
And I'll do it gently because we just stapled it. All right.
Oh, it's fancy, Linda.
It is. We did applique on this one. But you can see now that this is all pulling through and they've got the two seams. In fact, shall I just show you how we did that applique?
Yes, please.
I think we have it here. If you want to do some applique, you would do it while that first seam is sewn. You would then, oh, here it is. It fell down here. This is it. You've got something that doesn't fray. This is white cotton knit. It could be an ultra suede. It could be something that doesn't fray, because if it frays, you're going to have to do a really sharp, fine satin stitch around there. If it doesn't fray, you can just sort of do a big zigzag. So let me get some scissors.
Oh, do I need to wash any of this previous, Linda?
That's a good idea, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world, because you usually don't wash your handbag, but I mean, it could be, so you decide. What I've done, by the way, is I've ironed this, which is the same color. So if you look at this, there's a piece of fusible, and I've ironed the fusible to my knit.
And fusible meaning?
It's got the glue right on it. You see, so then there was glue. The glue is now transferred to this. So when I iron this down, it will stay. And then I can just zigzag around it. So it's neat stuff. So if you iron this paper on, then you can draw your pictures or whatever you want to do on here. You can cut them out. And then you can put them over there and iron them down and then stitch around them.
Truly is your own design, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could do anything. And of course, you could embroider on this. You could do, I mean, once you get into this whole thing, there's no end. There's no
That's
end.
right. When I'm watching Oprah now, I will do the
Yes, of
applique.
course,
That
of
is
course.
correct.
So now, really, we've got it to this stage. I've got another one at this stage because, again, I like making them. I like making them out of different fabrics.
Yes.
This one, I put the handle and the lining the same color for part of it, and then just a different color down here. So you could do that as well, especially if you don't have enough fabric. That works. But you can see that we're going to put the seam across there. So that's just where the seam is going to go.
Yes, we wouldn't want to leave this open because then everything does fall out.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
So we put a
yes.
seam across there. This is also where we'd put our closure. And we've got the neatest little magnetic closures. Here we go.
Okay, and that's what
Yeah, if you
closes
look
the
at
purse,
this,
right?
this will come like that. So they are strong.
And I do like my purse to close. I
Yes.
really don't like an open purse.
Sure. So this, we're going to say, okay, this has to go right on there. So just through the one layer, and I'm just going to have to take little scissors and snip so that I've got a place to put those two little prongs.
Do I need to measure?
No.
I'm just
No.
putting it where I think it should go.
Yeah, that's about where it should go. And then on the other side, I'll put this, when it comes through, I'll put this on the other side, and then just flatten those. And then that'll be it. And so I'll have this one on. I would put this one on and make sure that it does up, and then I would put my prongs in.
That's,
that's
very impressive as well. And not too expensive.
No.
Closures.
In fact, the whole kit is under $20 to do the whole thing. So, I mean, you can have a whole wardrobe of these.
Yes.
Yes.
For every outfit I
Exactly.
have. And I'm making it myself, so that's going to feel rewarding to
Yes,
me.
it does. And people think you're so clever.
Of course.
This is, and of course you are.
As I put
So,
my
okay,
label.
we're just about there. So
Yes.
what we're going to do then is when we sew this across, we're going to take this, and you can hand stitch this, or you can still machine stitch this just across like that.
So
And
either
that
way, is the hand stitch as strong
No,
as
I'd like the machine. And it's inside. No one's ever going to see this.
So it doesn't matter if it's all crazy and...
No, it does not, because it's all going to be in the bottom of here. So this one's all in the bottom, actually. That one wasn't even sewn yet. We haven't even finished this one,
No.
so it's not sewn, but you'll sew across the bottom. And that's basically what you're going to do. So you can then make it out of whatever you want.
I was going to say, this looks like a cushion. Am I right on this?
This is cushion covers. And we thought, why would you make all this embroidery if you could just find some cushion covers? This is an easy, quick way. I mean, yes, you could do some nice embroidery, yes. But if you've just got some cushion covers, cut them out of the cushion covers. In fact, what we decided to do, we had to alter it a little bit. If you look at this was the pattern. The dotted line was the actual pattern. And in order to fit on the cushion cover, we had to make it a little bit narrower, a little bit shorter, but it doesn't really matter. There's no rules to this game.
I like that.
Yeah.
There are no rules,
There are
and
no
there's
rules.
no grading at the end.
That's right.
You're not going to give me an 80% pass.
No, you can
It's
do...
all 100%
Do you
effort.
want to see the surprise?
Yes, there is a
Where
surprise.
is the surprise? It's in...
You promised a little treat.
This
Am I
one?
right on this one? I think it's
Which
in this one.
Is it that one?
I think so.
It is. You said it was this one? Yes, it is.
I sniffed it out. Linda. What can I say? What is
What
it?
we did is we decided to put that lining on snap tape. Are you getting this?
Snap tape.
Yes, snap tape comes with snaps already on it.
Now, is this something new?
No,
Or has it been around forever?
babies have been using this in their panties for a long time. This is a baby thing. But you see what I can do? I can take this whole inside out. I can put this inside in any one of these purses.
What a great idea.
Because then you don't have to dump one into the other. Because I anticipate you're going to have a whole bunch of
Well,
these.
yes, and then it's when you're at the store and it's like, oh my gosh, my wallet is in my other purse.
Yes.
How many times have you said that, Linda?
Exactly.
And this could also work as a glorified diaper bag too, right? One diaper per
that's
outing.
That's true.
I'm liking this.
Yes.
Well, this is very basic.
Okay.
It's an easy-made purse. I think that I could even do it.
Yes, you
and
could.
I don't have anxiety or sweat or cortisone running all through my
Exactly.
veins.
You're fine.
I feel very confident that someone like myself could actually create this.
Put her there. Okay.
Linda, thank you very much.
Thank you. This has been great.
Yes.
So don't go away because we got more stuff coming.
Thank you.
There are so many exciting things to sew. I get giddy because I don't know where to begin. And dolls have always been a favorite of mine. And Linda Freund, it's so nice to have you. Rumpled Quilt Skins is the name of your shop, isn't it?
It is.
And how'd you come up with that?
3 o'clock the morning before I needed to come up with a name that ran through my head, and that's all that was left. So that's what we decided to call
Great, because it's a quilting store, as
Yeah.
there are lots of quilting stores, but you do other things. And the dolls, I can see that you've got a bit of a passion for dolls as well.
I do. I love dolls. I love faces. I like the study of faces.
I love faces because in the world, how can there be so many different faces?
I know.
We're all dealing with 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth.
Yeah, but we're all different, aren't we?
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
So that's your doll that's sitting over there.
This is
that's
Olive.
looking so
Olive of the Attic.
lovely. And in fact, you even made a pattern for her. I noticed that.
I have,
Yeah, so
yes.
that's kind of neat, so that people can do that. Well, let me have a look at another. Is this based on the same?
This is Olive's sister. This is Pearl.
Okay, lovely. And so we are going to then, and I see, can I get fresh with her? Let's see what's going on under here. Okay, so we've got a body, and then we've got, and then you've stitched all of, so she's got, oh, lovely. So that, and then you've made that too.
That's right.
Okay, and her hair piece, a zipper in her dress. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So she just is, and of course this is the part that's really impressive. This is all, it looks like it's painted, but it is all stitched.
It is. It's embroidered on our machines.
Are there a number of different faces, or do you do...
Right now we just have 2 faces in our pattern, but faces are what normal doll makers find really hard to create on their own.
Yeah.
So we do it for you, and then the rest of the creation is in what kind of doll you want to make, what personality you give her.
Because it's so different with a different face.
They are.
Yeah. So, okay, where do we begin? I'll put her
Well,
back.
in embroidery, there's always the right stabilizer and the right fabric. And so the fabric that we're choosing for this olive is a bit primitive. It's called Osnaburg, and it's pretty coarse.
Yeah.
And the stabilizer that we're using is a cutaway, but it's nice and soft. When I did my first olive, I didn't use this stabilizer. She was too stretchy, and she had fat ankles.
Okay,
we
so you
learned a lot
want it
from
woven
that.
and you want something fairly firm.
That's right.
Okay.
And as part of the pattern, what you get are the embroidery stitch files to make olive. The first hooping that you do is her 2 hands.
Okay.
And so the 2 hands, all they have to be done to them now is to have them cut out, turned, and stuffed in the little tool that you use.
So the machine does all that for you. You just put your hoop in and you push the button.
Choose the arm design and it's done. And then to do her legs, as you noticed, that olive had a decorative stitch on her legs.
Yes, I do like
And
that.
whatever you have in the software, whatever stitches you have in your machine, you can use those for decorative stitches, fishnet stockings, which is kind of what I tried to replicate here. So I do 2 hoopings of this. This is the first for the
And I like
front.
this business. You do. The machine does. You stick it in there and the machine does.
I thread it, yes.
That's right. That's good.
And on the second hooping, you do the same thing again. And then what I'm going to do before the second hooping is done is flip one on top of the other and stitch the outline of the 2 legs.
The legs, of course.
So the whole thing is done. I
So
just
this
have
would all
to
go
cut
into
it
the
out.
same hoop, or do you have to put
No,
it?
I don't even put it in
Okay,
the hoop.
yeah,
The
go
first one is hooped, and then I remove it, hoop the second one, and then they're both stitched out as legs.
This doll making has become very high-tech and very
This
simple.
one is lickety-split. It's
Yes, it
so
is.
easy that an amateur can do it.
yeah.
This is her back, so she has a bit of lingerie on. This is the back
course.
of her head.
Yeah, yeah.
We stitch this out first, and then the next thing I'm going to do is stitch out the front of it. Now, you have to be careful in the colors that you use in the face.
Sure.
Because otherwise, if you're not careful, you end up with kind of well, maybe a different personality, but sometimes a bit garish. So we use pretty blendable colors here. There's not much detail and not many stitches, so it doesn't take too long to do it. So my next step would be is to put this into the hoop. And I'll
Okay,
show
we're not
you.
going to put this right sides together?
No, not yet.
No, okay.
Because when this is just a piece of fabric, we're going to put this into the hoop of the machine. And should I do that now, Linda?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like I said, it's pretty easy. Just going to slip it into the machine like this. Click it in, and then if you could pass me the back side, Linda.
Yeah, okay.
When I get to the point where I have done all of this embroidery and it's finished, before I do the outline that would normally go around the top of her head, I'm going to put this piece down right on top of it, and it's pretty much going to be stable. I'm going to line up the top of the head and the bottom of the garment, and then I'm going to stitch out just the outline part of it. When I'm done that, I'm going to take up the whole hoop, and I'm going to cut around her, turn her inside out, and stuff her.
Yes.
So that's a piece of cake. That's really easy to do.
So you've already got your arms stuffed, you've already got your legs stuffed, so they would go into that seam.
That's right.
As you're going to sew across that seam.
That's
and,
right. So that's a little bit of part that you do by hand. You're going to have to stuff her. We put pellets in them so that they're a little bit weighted and you can make them a bit
and
more shapely.
they can sit a little bit better.
That's right.
Yeah.
As you can see, they like to fall over just like dolls do.
Yes, they do. Yes. What about these feet? These shoes?
Okay, now that's lace that we can do in the embroidery machine.
There we go.
So this is a piece of lace with water-soluble stabilizer on it.
Okay.
When we're done,
Is
this
that all
just
programmed into your machine
thread.
too?
That's also programmed.
Lovely.
This is just thread, top and bottom, same kind of rayon thread. We stitch these out, 2 for the shoes and 2 for the shawls. So the shawl just gets attached and fits around the doll's head. And then all we do is we soak this overnight, and it comes to be nice and soft and pliable.
And it
like
gets
this.
rid of all this.
Yeah, it gets
stuff.
rid of all this starchy background that enables you to be nice and stable for the stitching, but doesn't stay in there afterward.
Okay, and then we're going to put this around here.
That's right. One of the other things that we like to do is to gusset them up when they're all done. So if you'll notice on this pearl doll right here, she has some pearls on her shoes, which we use with a hot glue gun. And she has some pearls on her dress.
You know, this is, I love it. But we're going to take a break, and you're going to talk about classes and more about your dolls.
We have so much fun in classes. I think it's good that we should show some of the things we do.
Okay, we'll take a break and be right back. And here's our dolly. I think she is just so sweet. Linda, thank you so much for getting me excited about dolls, because there's just a ton of things you could do with this.
There is. There's lots of ways you can be creative when you have a good machine and when you have some ideas in your head.
Yes, and you have more than your share, I think. But let me show you this, because I'm just delighted. I mean, I love the name. And then you've designed your sign with, I mean, it's just magnificent.
This is really easy. This is something that anybody can do. This is multiple hoopings, but it's just a bunch of embroidery designs that I like all put together, and then using a bit of the software to create the letters for our store.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you say that this is not complicated, the whole thing?
Very easy.
What I think is so impressive is that it looks so complicated. It looks like rocket science, but it's not.
It's okay to fool our public.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about this one that you've got here, because this is not a tablecloth. This is a magnificent quilt, and you do all of these in your classes, don't you?
That's right. This is one of the big classes that we offer in our store. It's called Beyond Color Purple, because originally this quilt was done in purple. It's by Jenny Haskins, who is a very famous Australian designer.
Yes,
We love her work, so we like to copy what she does.
Let's just even talk about the classes business. That's a great way for people to get into the whole idea. I mean, this is kind of intimidating when I look at this and think,
But you know what we found, Linda? If people like something well enough, they'll come out of their shell to do a class just to learn how to do it.
Sure.
So we like to entice them into the store, because we find that working at home on their own, they just can't manage.
No, the classes are so fun. The camaraderie, the people that you meet, the designs, the creativity that happens in a group is just
And you learn from your students, not just from your teacher, but from everybody around you.
Yeah. So certainly take classes whenever you can. Take advantage. I think this is fascinating, because you said this is applique, and I said, well, I can't even see any stitches. And the whole thing is velvet, and all of this is thread. So what a magnificent way to applique a piece on.
And the great thing about this kind of applique is it's all done in the embroidery hoop, so you don't have to be manipulating this fabric at all. The machine does it all for you.
These machines, they are just amazing. Okay, each one of these is you said it takes...
It's a separate block that teaches you a different technique in each single block. So you build your bravery from block one all the way around the quilt and finish with the center.
Magnificent. Okay, let's have a look at this, because this is outstanding. This is a medieval, you said?
This is called U is for Unicorn, and this is also another Australian design, and this is a class that we teach at our store.
I love the metallic work in this, the metallic threads. And of course, they're making metallic threads so much better, isn't it?
They are. They don't break nearly as easy as they used to in the old days. The technology is a lot better. And the thing about this quilt is you're doing 1 or 2 blocks at a time, so it's not overwhelming.
Okay.
Any student can do this.
Okay. And then, I see that you've got some little pieces that sort of three-dimensional.
That helps to make the quilt a lot more fun, a lot more personalized, and adds a lot of dimension to the flat stitches that we normally work with straight line quilting.
I do love all the little crystals that go into this. They're all over the place, and I think that's so neat. Your unicorn over here is just beautiful. So with the metallic thread and with your crystals, this is not like the old quilts anymore, for sure.
It's not at all, and yet it's still just as easy as straight line sewing was.
Yes, you said the one over there on the far wall is the easiest. Isn't that what you said?
This one is called Roses for Mary, and this is just straight embroidery, hooping and re-hooping, with some quilting and a little bit of crystals added on top.
So it looks like all that's appliqué, but that's actually all thread.
That's right. It's just complete thread.
How much thread would a person use? Is that a legitimate
I would
question?
say that, this one uses maybe 100,000 yards of thread.
Okay, so you have to look and see, because different threads are different amounts.
That's right.
But that's really not all that much thread. Like, how many spools is that?
I'm going to guess it's about 10 or 15 spools of thread, depending on what size spools you use.
Yeah. Okay, and then you go ahead and do and all the quilting. That's done without programming. You've just done that.
That's rolling up your quilt, putting it into the machine, and doing the stitching the way that you want to do it.
Yes. So you make all of that, put it all together, and again, you're talking about a class.
That's right. This is going to be another class that we're offering in the fall.
Okay. Well, this has been just great. Thank you so much for coming. And we've got to go. We're out of time, so thanks again. See you next time. Join us, and we'll have all kinds of more exciting stuff to show you.